Here we go. First round going to be in downtown.
Just a reminder, Talon went 34-1 in their Contenders region of Pacific, only dropping one single map, which, you know, most analysts, when you go back and watch that map, wonder how serious Talon were taking it, but nearly going undefeated. Dominant force in their region. Now they get to test themselves in the mecca of esports against a top 3 Korean team. To win this series would be their second major achievement in this tournament. The first, of course, was almost defeating Element Mystic. We will see the teleport come out here from Stalker into the Reaper swap. Yep. Talon just coming in straight up.
Yeah, we'll be pushing forward. Now we get the clash of Glister versus Pattyfan. See who can come out on top. Glister came in quite hyped, hasn't quite delivered on it. Patty has been able to do so, but as I say, that first blood will be claimed by Glister as he takes down Bashful, and this is going to be clean up from here for the rest of Gen.G. Already a very strong volley as the point gets ready to unlock.
There's two schools of thought in terms of the teleporter, by the way, at the beginning. One is you want to get to the point first and take positional advantage on the point. The second is that if your opponent gets there first, you could take a more defensive engagement, which a lot of Doomfists are doing. Pattyfan in particular is also most famous for punishing overextensions. He looks like a great mechanical Doomfist, and he is, but it's punishment that gets him most of his success, but it doesn't work out in this case.
Well, that's going to be the stun, and Stalker is there to capitalize. Patty already going to be falling. The Meteor Strike takes down CQP, follow-up punch. It's sort of Kagura, so really rough start for Talon Esports. Going to have to try to turn things around very swiftly here as Muse will get picked right at the end.
Yeah, it's tough for Pattyfan to really take the types of engagements that he's looking for here downtown on Busan because all the entrances are very clearly marked and watched by Gen.G. And like I was saying before, his most epic moments on the Fist have been punishing players who overextend, and when they have the defender's advantage, he has to be the aggressor, and it can be quite difficult. He's going to take, well, it looks like he's going to take that right side path, just slowly moving up.
Already the punch there on a Bashful nearly gets taken out, but Patty does manage to find the kill on the Glister, so things opened up a bit more for the side of Talon Esports. Start pushing their way forward. Patty looking from above, not going to be going forward with that seismic slam. Drop down, attempted from Stalker, instantly met with that uppercut, has to wraith his way off the point. Nearly has the Death Blossom online, might be able to turn things around if he can survive, but he's not going to be able to do so. Patty takes him out, goes up with the Meteor Strike, drop back down, doesn't find any kills. In the meantime, the flip has come through for Talon Esports, now accruing percentage, and that will be the reset for Gen.G.
And it was a more efficient flip as well here for Talon, you know, than you would have expected. Didn't have to use the Flux, didn't have to use the Supercharger. So this is a great time to trade up now. Defensively, CQB has this sound barrier, so they have a lot of ways to save ultimates here. And potentially even hold on to Bashful's upcoming Death Blossom. He is just flanking. With just a few headshots, he can, you know, trigger that immediately if it becomes required.
Creations being thrown out on either side. Stun's not going to be leading to any kills, but Bashful does manage to find Glister. Creative will fall as well to Muse. So, Gen.G going to be sent back to the spawn as Woohyal tries to retreat. Seems like he will be able to do so successfully.
The Supercharger takes a really long time to build, but the use of the Supercharger there, even though it might not have been arguably necessary, was able to get them that extra damage to get the opening pick, which helps them build the rest of their ultimates up. So they're about to sit on 5. So this is the most efficient hold you can hope for if you're Talon.
Secret Fennec Flex going to be coming in for Gagora. Supercharger not going to last too long, and Woohyal will be the first one to fall. Death Blossom out from Stalker, managed to find absolutely nothing. The sound barrier used from both sides. Very much profit the side of Talon Esports. CQB will be the only casualty for this squad, and Gen.G getting close now. 75% built up for Talon Esports. They need to get this flip right now if they want to win this round.
You can really see the synergy between Talon in terms of the communication on ult usage, how to stagger those out. Bashful still holds the final ultimate required here if he can get a flanking setup for it, and that's all it takes, and they don't see him.
No, they do not. He's going to start pushing forward already. Woohyal going quite low. Kinetic Grasp going to be out. Glister, however, manages to find one. The Blossom will take down Creative, but it's very much a fight in favor of Gen.G. They have to make their way over to the point, which they just now have done. At least will force out that OT, but it's not going to be necessary. The flip comes through at 99% for Talon.
Very close call there for Woohyal. Very good reaction time. He had already used the Kinetic Grasp, as you mentioned, so didn't have the ability to absorb that Death Blossom, but was able to get his barrier out just in time to stop the rest of that damage. You saw Creative fade away. So even though Bashful's positioning was good, the reaction was fast enough. And now Talon don't really have great tools to break this back open.
Well, already. Bashful going to be taken down. Feeling like the start of the round now with Glister finding that opening pick. Williel, he's got the ult ready to go. Gravitic Flux going to be coming in, pushes 2 up into the air. The Lucio is so darn low, and CQB will get finished off. Accretion there on the back end. Potty manages to tag in right at the last second, goes up with the Meteor Strike, trying to drop down, get rid of that Coalescence, but he just cannot do enough. Needs the rest of his team to arrive, but it's not going to happen. The Suns come in, the cleanup is there. One final tag it would seem from CQB, but they push him off for the moment. They allow that OT to take away the 199. Gen.G will take the first round of Busan.
I implore fans to watch the pattern of what happens when a team takes the first capture and how difficult it is to stop that as the secondary capturing team, right? Because you're always going to have that extra tick up. You're going to have better ultimates because you can sit on the point, delay, and build up ultimates to retake. It's always been a staple of Control, but in this meta in particular, it's massive. And it says a lot that even though Talon got the flip fairly early, and were able to stagger those few first pushes from Gen.G with 1 ult at a time, they eventually did get worn down in the end, ran out of tools. The reason I say this is not because I'm criticizing the meta or anything like that, but it's just a fact of the matter is how important that first cap is. So let's see who gets it this time. If Talon could take that first cap, they'll have a much easier time than they did previously, especially on an open map like this with their playstyle around Potifan.
Yeah. More so just the innate nature of Control, rather.
Sure.
Getting that first cap gives you so much of an advantage. For now, no chip damage coming in. Glister diving forward, gets a lot of damage there. Nearly taking down Patty, actually. Views will manage to find Oberon, so first casualty going to be on the side of Gen.G. Talon maybe able to get that first cap that you were talking about. Punch not going to connect to anything, gets the uppercut in, but he's going lower and lower and will get finished off. Glister manages to find the rocket punch, takes down the opposing Doomfist. Now the Coalescence rolls through, and so many members of the side of Talon have slivers of HP remaining. Meteor Strike won't get the kill, but it helps take down Mango Jai. That will be Gen.G getting the cap again, inevitably.
Massively faster. Coalescence out for creative. We saw the first-person view come through there for just a moment from the Korean commentators calling it out. He was 20 to 30% ahead for most of that fight, did a massive amount of damage with his damage orb, his right click. And that's actually the winning moment for Gen.G. That first cap now so important. And Talon needs to flip it with their Coalescence, or they're just going to be behind in ults for the rest of this map. Or round at least.
Yeah. Folks coming out. Mango just going to be escorting them forward. Creative already above 30% towards his next Coalescence, looking for that accretion. Connection there for a moment as Glister falls down to half HP. Sound barrier is still going to be ready to go. First one used is from Bliss. Meteor Strike on top of the drum. Patty is remaining safe. Goes in, gets a punch. Wuyel up against the wall, falls low for the top and then back up, and Creative nearly has a Coalescence, but it might be a little bit too late. Gravitic Flux committed into the fight by Wuyel, but now 3 members are gone to the side of Gen.G, so they're going to have to abandon this.
Really nicely done to set up for the early Coalescence for Mango Jai, leading into that damage coming up for Bashful. They force the sound barrier early, get to use theirs second as a result, and win that longer fight. A few ultimates coming online for Gen.G, like the Coalescence you were mentioning in the later part of that fight, Stalkers, Death Blossom as well, but it just simply doesn't matter when everyone dies during the sound barrier just before they can use them. Very fast retake here for Talon Esports. This is exactly what you're hoping for if you do get that second cap.
Yeah, 52% built up here for Gen.G. Talon now in control. That's a major Gravitic Flux, slams them all back down, but the kills aren't quite there yet. Bashful goes forward, tries to get the Death Blossom out, but Stalkers is just a little bit better. Finds the opposing Reaper. Everybody going to be holding together as Patty fishes for a kill, but he cannot find it, and Stalker is just in the back line, absolutely wrecking the Orisa. The Muse does fall. Bashful going to be trying to rejoin. The flip is still not there yet for Gen.G. As Talon tries to elongate this battle, but it seems like, again, it's just a matter of time. Punched in. That's going to be the finish on a Mango Jai. Clean stuff from Glister so far. Gen.G get the flip.
They do. Latifan's Meteor Strike buy them a few percentage points, but that is about it. And as the approach comes through here next for Gen.G, or rather for Talon Esports, the sound barrier's there, and the much faster Coalescence again here for creative as it goes. So this push very likely isn't going to do it. They need to force out a lot of ultimates, though.
Agora already chunked out. Bashful going lower and lower as the Coalescence rolls through, looking to get those kills. Unable to find it. Now Mango Joe's going to have his online for the approach over towards the point. Uses that one instantly. Sound barriers up for both of the Lucios, and already Bliss going to be taken out of the fight. So now that shielding not going to be there for Gen.G as they approach 90%. Flips nearly back into the favor of Talon Esports, and with this cleanup, they will have it.
And it was a very cautious, patient approach. They slowly came onto the point, didn't commit ults. They waited until Polyphon could look for that one pick. The one pick he needed was the Bliss pick so that he could prevent the sound barrier we were talking about. That's so critical. Bliss still holds the sound barrier here, but now Talon has control their own sound barrier, and Polyphon even is about to get that Meteor Strike. This is going to have to be a sound barrier engage. If this fails, Talon is tying up this map right now. One chance here for Gen.G.
It's coming online.
Ooh, look at this. They don't see him.
Flux is there. Bashful's into the back line. He does not have that Death Blossom, and they force out the sound barrier. That could be good for the Gravitic Flux that Kagura now has online, but Bashful did get taken down by that Rocket Punch. Blister finds another one. Now CQB going to be eliminated. Gen.G continue to advance over towards the point. Blister's still going to be alive, hanging on by a bit of a thread. With the Coalescence rolling, there's nothing that Muse can do to stay alive. Gets burned down. The flip coming through right as Talon tie the score, tie the percentage rather. Now they need to get onto the point.
Yeah, just a run in here for Polyphon, but it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, it should just be the trickling in from the side of Talon Esports. Death Blossom going to be out from Stalker, gets rid of Bashful. The Wrecking Ball does not stand a chance as Muse does fall. And now it's just Kagura pushed off the point as the OT bleeds away. They get the Baby Diva. Very close rounds on Busan, but Gen.G are able to take it 2-0 to start this series.
And it's the tunnel vision on the plan that we saw really fall apart there for Talon. Bashful's going on the flank. He's trying to hit Oberon. They're trying to take the fight to Gen.G on their approach, so they have to sound barrier in. But the reaction is so fast from Glister. He rocket punches in, gets that kill onto Bashful, and the entire plan, the entire strategy there in that moment crumbles in an instant. It's because Bashful was so focused on setting up that disruption that he wasn't aware of where Glister was. And Reaper can often find themselves, or Reaper player can find themselves very immobile, very much caught by rocket punches when they do look for those hard engages. Great response time there from Gen.G.
Now we have to see how Gen.G is going to fare as we push forward into that next map, because it will be the selection of Talon Esports. So we'll have to see where they want to take us to. Perhaps King's Row could be good for them. So we'll have to see what they want to do with that selection and whether or not it's going to net them a victory on Hybrid, or if Gen.G is going to be able to move forward 2-0. Stay tuned, we're going to find out after a very short commercial break. Welcome back from the break. Here we go. One map so far played in this series between Talon Esports and Gen.G. Gen.G able to take the victory on Busan 2-0, but very close. 99%, 96% or so on that second round for the side of Talon Esports. So a bit of a knife's edge here for them.
Certainly, and you know, it's very difficult. Well, I know I've been talking about it a lot, but it is very difficult to win control rounds when you do get the second cap. They made it close regardless. We're headed to King's Row, which has been by far our most popular hybrid map here of the tournament.
Yep.
It's all about that A capture time as to how many tools you have to make it to C in this meta. Strongest points of defense are going to be that A point and the C point. And it's a great map for Padifan's style of Doomfist, more defensive style around corners. So they've got a great shot of really depleting that time bank when they do have that defensive opportunity. They need to swing this series back into their favor, though, and get back control of the map selection because their playstyle is so varied.
Yeah, don't want to get put into a position where you have to reverse sweep against Gen.G.
Certainly do not want to be in that position.
I mean,
you know, Gen.G has all map type selection.
They've been in that position before. Gen.G has versus Envy, nearly pulled it off.
Yeah, they certainly have. I mean, it's the reason I mentioned this specifically for maps was it's always important, but for Talon, they have such a specific playstyle that's so reliant on Bashful's flanks and Padifan's more defensive Doomfist style. And what I mean by defensive, because I've been talking about this a lot, I don't mean that he's not aggressive, he doesn't look for kills, and someone's going to be like, buddy, I saw him get that 4K that one time. A lot of his play is punishing, you know, when, for example, if Glister goes in and overextends or Stalker's trying to flank, he punishes those and then starts to pop off when he gets all the shields.
Creative, surely you know.
I think it's a bait. He's just going to toss this out and then get out. Yeah.
All right.
For a moment, I was wondering if we'd see Mango play that Zen, but one could dream. I guess we'll have to wait for another match. We've seen enough Zenyatta over the year, I'd say.
Quite a bit of it. I wouldn't mind some more, you know. Hughes getting tagged up. Be all right for now, and Stalker waits. Stalking above.
Look at Mango Jai's ult percentage, by the way. He's going to have Cole so fast.
Yeah, really quick. We built up here, 97% now online, and already 3 members gone on the side of Gen.G, just kind of falling over on this point A defense.
All it takes is a single pick, and you could snowball so easily. In particular, Mango Jai sitting right now at almost 4 times the healing of Creative. 2,200 to 600 at the moment. That's what gave him that fast coalescence. I mean, when you have that man advantage, you can always just force the push through as long as nobody gets picked and you have that burst healing.
Yep.
Now you've got the faster coalescence to help you control this choke point. This is a great look for Talon at the start of this map.
Yeah, obviously really good healing coming out from Mango Jai. Creative does build up the coalescence, however, in the time before Mango Jai gets the opportunity to use it. So we'll be fairly neutral in that manner. As both of those ults do come out. Stalker was lurking around the flank, trying to find an opportunity, but unable to do so. Glister and Stalker both under fire, and that's going to be Patty managing to find one. Glister, however, equalizes, gets through the enemy Reaper. Nearly has that punch midair versus Glister. Would have certainly killed him off, but it's okay because Gagora is there. Finds the kill regardless. Got the push forward. This is looking like a steamroll for Talon Esports all the way towards B.
They got to use the Coalescence second, which kept everybody low, and even though we did see the Reaper trade occur, Talon was able to get the better healing, the more efficient healing there. And the most important part of that A hold, you know, after the, you know, capture is that archway hold, I should say, to be more clear, is controlling the choke point. And that's where, when you get that second Coalescence off and you do more damage in the choke, you've broken through the archway, and that's where the advantage for the defender fades away. You get this kind of free street space push that we've been talking about throughout this tournament towards B. And the ult advantage is real. They almost have the big 6 here. All they don't have is high ground.
Closely matched though by Gen.G. Meteor Strike now going to be online. Stalker, the one who's just a little bit further out. Fitting Flux is going to be used. Wuyall has his, but he's not going to get to use it. Meteor Strike takes him out. The Death Blossom cleans up Oberon and the Supercharger. And a pretty good band name.
And a lot of a lot of these situations you wouldn't want to commit all of these ultimates to take B, but given the time bank they already had and how difficult, of a time Gen.G was having controlling that archway, you might as well just go for gold here, try to set a record, grab B, and have this great time bank to push towards C, because Gen.G had to trade ultimates anyways.
Patty, okay, it's all right. Never mind.
He just barely missed it.
Bought a little bit more time there with the uppercut, but couldn't quite make it back onto the platform. And that's going to be a very nice window here for Gen.G to push forward.
Yeah, you can't grab ledges in this game with your fingers.
Nope. No, you cannot.
He's like, oh, my feet didn't reach it. I guess that's just it for me.
Every character in Overwatch does not have opposable thumbs, so they can't grasp things.
Have you ever tried to grasp a ledge with a gauntlet on your arm? I don't know. the Doom Fist, man. All right, look at this flank here for Stalker.
Yep, right into the back. It's going to be the Gravitic Flux out first. Instantly, 2 members going to be gone. Fastball still will find Glister.
He gets to hold this, too, because of the opening picks.
Coalescence now going to be expiring from the side of Mango.G. Creative uses his, looking to push them back around the corner. Right form going to be coming in from Bashful as he tries to retreat with the rest of his squad. But Gen.G are pushing forward, and they are cleaning up.
There were 2 different moments. Oh, sound barrier.
Still going to be used here in the fight, despite the fact that Muse goes down.
This is rough for Talon.
CQB commits that ult. That's the ult in. Glister finds a double kill. Patty and Mango.G both disappear. Gagora cleaned up on the back end.
Huge overcommitment and misunderstanding of the situation here by CQB. CQB, oddly enough, has been one of the Lucio players all the Koreans are talking about right now. He's quite famous for his ult usage, but in this case, they're not able to turn it. And Bashful still gets to hold this, sorry, not Bashful, excuse me, Stalker still gets to hold this Death Blossom that he's had for so long. Creative's already back up to another ultimate. I mean, you want to use the ult to build faster in these situations.
That's going to be the sound barrier out from Blizz in response to Gravitic Flux from Gagora, so they do not find any kills. Glister, however, stunned up by the accretion, will get taken down. Supercharger will fall to Coalescence. Death Blossom in on top of the cart, will be stunned up. Bashful, unable to find any kills, but it's still very much a Talon fight. Finally start getting that cart rolling. A decent chunk of time bought here for Gen.G, but it's still 250.
And Achilios, another one of these defensive engages for Potifon. Gen.G hard engaged there to try to give space to Stalker to finally set up that Death Blossom, which could have been paired with the Flux in the longer fight. But when they do speed boost in and commit, that's when Potifon finds the value on the Fist.
Supercharger tossed down the only ult that Talon had available for them. Gravitic Flux is out, finds numerous members, pulls them up into the air, but cannot get the kills. Cart now below 2 meters away. Death Blossom out. Doesn't find much. Kinetic Grasp was there from Gagora to mitigate a lot of it. They try to clear them off. Oberon going to be taken down. A great poop there from CQB. Finds the kill, and the Coalescence is running from Mango.G. Glister waiting patiently above. Comes in, cannot find a punch, and Stalker's going to be taken down. Now Creative going to fall. Oberon desperately swapping over onto the Wrecking Ball to try to get back in time, but he just cannot do it. They push him back, and it's going to be 2:02 in the time bank at the finish for Talon Esports.
Great time bank here for Talon. And remember, we talk about the defensive playstyle that they've been showing with the Doomfist. That was their attack, and they were still able to force a few of these fights where Gen.G had to engage in, and they got to play their style. As the defenders now on A and in the streets phase, you could argue that they should have a pretty good time willing down that time bank on Gen.G's initial attack here, as long as, we don't see that opening kill coming through from Gen.G, which can often really throw a wrench into how King's Row is played. And when you have a hero like Doomfist that can instantly kill someone with a rocket punch, it really just changes how the game is played. You have to be aware of that, and if you do get that stray kill, I mean, Widowmaker's one of those heroes as well, where you can just get an instant kill. That could change everything in an instant. So as long as Talon prevents that, plays their game, plays their style, well, I think this is a really good look for them heading into the second map to potentially tie up the series.
The Gen.G need a very strong start if they want to turn a match. Have to make it through with time in the bank if they want this map to be winnable. Otherwise, it would be draw territory for them. And obviously just straight up loss if they can't make it.
Yeah.
So, want to avoid that.
Watch how Potifon's going to take this engage too. We'll see if he wants to play more aggressive or he plays back like he normally has been.
He's playing Hotel right now.
Yeah, he's playing Hotel, and he wants to react to Glister's engage or potentially a Stalker teleport here. In the extreme cases where the Reaper does try that. Ooh, the accretion connects.
Nice. Okay.
Well. All right, already this is a great start.
It's a disaster! CQB headshotting the Doomfist for the first kill here on the push.
It's a really nice ult coming through from Muse. Set up a lot of these great fights. It's gone kind of unnoticed, I think, by the fans watching this tournament.
Altogether going to be used, but Glister not going in too deep. He is scared of the Lucio now. Dip inside the statues, they try to get topped up. So gets the nice punches, building up that shielding. Putting on the side of Talon, falling dangerously low. Coalescence will help top them back up as Muse goes flying up into the air, but has not been eliminated yet. Patty, kind of around the back end, will be able to escape. Gets back into the rest of his squad. Punches there, displaces Muse. They look to focus fire onto the Orisa. Meteor Strike comes down, doesn't find any kills, but it doesn't matter. The rest of Gen.G is there. That will be the wipe, and that will be point A.
Both of Bodyfon's attempted counter punches failed, and you could see those ones where he's just flying through the air with uppercut trying to disengage because he didn't hit the targets he was looking for. Glister found a lot more success. I mean, was able to, you know, surge up here in the ult charge, built up those shields you were talking about, which gave them more longevity on the point. And as the attacker, you have that advantage because the defenders have to stick to the point. So nicely done here from Gen.G. It's not the time bank that you know, that you want to have the best possible time bank for, but it's still quite solid here as long as they don't get staggered at A. Stalker's actually sneaked past them, so this is pretty rare. They don't know that he's there.
Yeah, he's around the side, gets in straight behind Gagora. Kinetic Grasp going to be used. Now he's got that Death Blossom online, so what an opportunity for him to use that ultimate. Kinetic Funk's unable to find anything, forces down the sound barrier from CQB. Death Blossom as well. Nothing to be found for Gen.G. The fight continues on, but now Wu-Yo going to fall. Punch forward, gets the kill on the creative, and that is going to be Archway control for Talon Esports.
That was a really cool attack from Gen.G. They had Stalker to cut Talon in half to set up for the Flux. They force out the sound barrier that way, and then Stalker looks for the re-engage, but unfortunately Mangojai had the fast kill there on the Coalescence in the choke, which made the entire strategy kind of lose weight into what they were trying to do. They didn't have the staying power to keep Stalker alive. The sound barrier had to be traded. So big failure here for Gen.G, even though the idea and the execution was quite good. Mangojai was just one step ahead.
Backflip's going to be pulled out into visibility. A hit there on the Muse as they try to finish him off. Supercharger going to be dropped in. Meteor Strike from Batty will get rid of that, and the Death Blossom from Bashful manages to find two.
And this is a nightmare scenario when you have a decent time bank on A, but you're getting held at the choke. And suddenly, you're starting to fall behind an ult economy as well because these fights are being so efficient, especially when you have this ultimate, the fastest building ultimate in this meta, Coalescence, which is also strongest in a choke, which is where Talon now controls. They're kind of one cycle behind right now in terms of that creative versus Mangojai. And you can see Gen.G is trying to take a completely different approach angle. As a result, they're not going to go through the choke. They're going to drop down.
They do drop down. Glister going to be forced into that Meteor Strike. Sees the Coalescence in the back lines. Wants to try to kill him off, but cannot find the hit there on the Mangojai, so he still rolls with that ult. Gen.G falling lower and lower. Creative trying to get his own Coalescence online, just 14% away. Gora starts kiting back, trying to survive. Manages to do so, and Stalker going to be punished. Gravitic Flux comes in. Catches several members on the side of Talon Esports. The beat a little bit too late to save Gagora, but still a winnable fight very much for Talon Esports. A major seismic slam is there for Patty. He gets the hit on the Bliss. Finishes him off with the left click. Now they chase forward back towards the spawn yet again.
I mean, that was an insane sound barrier for CQB too, because it made sure that even though the opening pick happened there, as you said, it was too late to save that opening kill, but it was able to win them that longer fight. They knew Bliss wasn't going to have his yet. There's that whole support cycle ahead in terms of ultimates. Still, Mangojai has his, creative at 20. It's like deja vu, and this just keeps happening. Talon not willing to fight the choke anymore with the staggered respawn coming through, but they took away so much of that time bank.
Ult comes in. Couple hits. They're onto the members of Gen.G. Patty comes back down with a Meteor Strike, doesn't find a kill, but again, the Coalescence from Mangojai is killing everybody! Comes up with two as Oberon and Stalker will both fall. Patty gets rid of Glister, and again, it's going to be card control. They can go straight back up into the choke point because they didn't lose anyone in this fight.
If you compare, if you compare what Mangojai and Creative are both doing in this game, Creative is actually leading significantly in terms of hero damage, but in healing, that's where he is massively behind. Mangojai's healing has been insane, and it's because of the defensive playstyle of Talon, where they just kind of catch the dodgeball, so to speak, instead of engaging themselves. They wait back into these fights and use their cooldown second. Bashful on the flank.
He just walks straight at them. Those in that Death Blossom will not be able to find anything as far as the kills are concerned. Coalescence from Creative. Puts around the corner, managed to find Patty. Now View's going to be taken down as well.
That was that was one of those times where Talon does try to be aggressive. They looked for the rocket punch into the seismic slam, or excuse me, the uppercut, to lead into the Death Blossom, kind of relying on Bashful not being seen there, but Gen.G get big value out of the Coalescence. You still don't feel terrible here as Talon, though, because the cart is taking a long time to hit B. You were hitting B with about 5 minutes of your own time bank, so you're feeling great about where Gen.G sits right now.
I mean, it's impossible for them to get, even a match time bank now for this out of Gen.G. Oh, Stalker trying to TP, but Patty is having none of that nonsense. Takes him out with the uppercut. Now the Meteor Strike into the back. And they are not prepared with an accretion to try to stun him up, so he is still wreaking havoc. Answering Meteor Strike out, however, from Glister does take down Patty. Now the Flux comes in. We all slamming him down. The tank's dangerously low as Kagura will fall. Hughes gets top back up. Talon Esports still committing to the fight. They want a victory right here. That's going to be the sound barrier coming in as Patty swaps over onto the Widowmaker, and Kagura is still going to be sticking through with a Sigma. Stalker sees the halt, drops down, does not need the Death Blossom here, however. Cleans up multiple kills, and Gen.G will be able to make it through into beat.
With worse time, or rather worse respawns coming through for Talon, etc., with the initial kills coming through, committing the sound barrier there and taking that fight was, kind of breaks the rules of traditional team fighting in Overwatch, but they were almost able to make it happen, and had they done that, they would have won the map outright. Worst case scenario, as you mentioned, they're already ahead in time bank, so why not give it a shot? I guess that's the mindset here.
So they went for Coalescence as well, going to be used as they try to play aggressively. Does force Gen.G back, and now takes them down under a minute.
If they get them down to 0, I mean, they may be able to force a draw.
Yeah, that's the only thing that Gen.G would have to rely on or hope for. Sound barrier going to be used on the approach now from Bliss. Using that ahead of that Gravitic Flux could be costly in the long run. Here they are, up into the air. Glister already taken out. Kagura has to follow up now onto Wuyao.
The entirety of Stalker's ultimate there was absorbed by the kinetic grasp. Huge reaction time there from Kagura. We had his first person view. You could see as soon as he heard the voice line, he turns slightly to the right, pulls out the grasp, absorbs a majority of that, then drops the Flux down. Great reaction time on the side of the Flex tank here for Talon Esports. And now Gen.G ult advantage here, but it looks like an overtime finish at best.
Yeah, there's no way that they can finish with time in the bank. Even if all of Talon went back to spawn an AFK, just would not happen realistically for them. CQB going to be taken out. Stalker manages to find 2, gets rid of Bashful as well. Glister stunned up as he comes back from the Meteor Strike, but does not fall. Patty manages to find 1. Oberon going to get dropped. The punch coming in. Patty himself now going to be eliminated. As the cart will finally start rounding the final corner, pushing along Kagura's body with it.
And this is going to be one last attempt here for Talon. They built a lot of ultimates in that last fight. They delayed. If they can build up to the sound barrier, that's a really nice win condition for them. The Flux as well, easier said than done.
Flank over onto the side. Patty and Glister both stun each other, but Bliss goes in. He manages to get the 2v1, and they take him down. Blossom out, unable to find anything here for Bashful. Was stunned up, made it into the Wraith form, now is without it. Fighting here on the card, that's going to be the Gravitic Flux, pulls 3 up into the air, slamming him back down. Using Mango Giant, all going to fall now. Kagura going to be joining them. Patty comes back through, has to get multiple kills, needs to come back down to the card. Manages to arrive in time to contest it for a little bit longer. They can't stop them, they cannot win the map right here. But Gen.G finished with no time in the bank compared to the 2 minutes and 2 seconds that Talon have. So now it's a draw situation at best for Gen.G.
That's right. And this is what feels like probably our closest to a draw we've had in this tournament.
Yeah, we haven't had one yet.
We haven't had one yet, and we've had a few close calls, but this one feels like the one that could really happen here if Gen.G has a solid defense. But that's best case scenario, just to remind everyone of the format as a result. This is first to 3, which means that it's not going to be a scenario where if they draw and then, Gen.G wins one more, then the series is over or anything like that. You still have to get 3 points. So this map could go to, or the series could, for example, go to a 6 map. Just put that out there. But this is a pretty solid strategy from Talon. They looked for that fight on B that could have, won them the map straight up, and then they just delayed forever. Essentially trying to get to this scenario where we are now, knowing they had the 2-minute finish. So they get to have one last attack run here. And if anyone dies in the opening for Gen.G, it's only a tick that Talon need. And if Mango.Jai gets that faster coalescence again, remember last time he surged up 30% ahead of Creative. That may be another way to win the fight, and Talon's more defensive playstyle rather than just trying to throw a wrench at Gen.G and get that opening kill. Look at how Potifon takes the side approach here. He's waiting for Talon to touch first and give that distraction. Then he's looking for the flank. He's not just going to Hail Mary his way in.
He also wants to try to spot out where Glister's at. Find him now. Patty going to be jumping forward. Very big seismic slam.
Mango, 25% up again.
Yeah, he is just surging. Nearly has that coalescence online. Punch not going to connect. It's going to be a jump back behind the barriers to stay safe for Patty. Freaking coming through, unable to find anything. Two fists passing in the night. Don't connect with anything on either side. Creation going to be coming in. That's going to be both of them knocked to the ground, and Glister will be the first one to fall. Stalker, however, tries to drag this one back into their favor. Gets rid of Patty. Now rejoins in. Tries to get topped up. Talon Esports on the point, starting to accrue percentage here. Gen.G needs to break them down. Riveting Flux is going to be online for Wooyah. Popping that one instantly, sends them up into the air. Three of them Muse, going to get dropped back down, but they actually managed to keep him alive. He does not fall yet. Gen.G, can they turn this? Can they make this happen? It's down under a minute now. It's going to be the beats out from both of these Lucios. The coalescence rolling. Creative still not there yet, but Glister finds a kill. Bashful going to be gone. Supercharger taken away, but Stalker dropped.
There you go!
Riveting Flux, the Meteor Strike finds Wooyah. Creative going to be taken out. 3 members down on Gen.G. They need to pull up a miracle, but it's just Oberon and Bliss, and it is not going to happen, it would seem. They clean them up. Talon Esports going to be tying up this series 1-1.
It's the support line again. Achilios that makes it happen. CQB in perfect position to get the full sound barrier. Gets to use his second because it comes out earlier, the Mango.Jai coalescence, to lead into what had to be a fast Bliss sound barrier there on the side of Gen.G. And now we have ourselves a tie series. Absolutely phenomenal performance from Talon here. And this is insane when you look at the region's historical performances at international events and you look at Gen.G, 3rd seed from Korea. This has been a close series from the outset. Even Control was very close.
Well, now we have to see what the assault pick is going to be for the side of Gen.G. Has not been a favorable map type for them. 1 win, 2 losses so far here in the Gauntlet. Let's see if they can tie that up and take the lead in this series when we come back from the break, because this one is so very darn close. So let's see where it goes.